Ah, hello. Glad you found me. I've been waiting out here for at least 6 hours. It's not been very pleasant, to be honest with you. There are all kinds of bugs, as you can hear. There's a weird, creepy owl that's not going away. I don't really like it out here very much at all, to be honest. It's yeah. No, it's been a busy day. It's been a busy day. But it's all right. It's all right. I'm keeping in good spirits. You see, I have something I need to do out here, and I was wondering if you might be able to help me out. So I had a very important document. There was a piece of paper out here, one of my pages, perhaps, if you might call me some sort of Slender Man. There's a very, very important message on there, and I need to find it. So, I think, if you wouldn't mind, what would be really nice today is listen, I've been in the woods for a long time, and I know that my piece of paper is in there somewhere, but I'm a bit scared to go in by myself. So, if you wouldn't mind, maybe we could go in together. Maybe if we went in side by side, we could have a little look around, see if we can find it, and then if the owl hoots at me in a scary way, then maybe you could be there too, and I wouldn't feel so bad. Oh, great. Good. So what are you doing out here? I'm very happy to see you, but it's a really remote, strange spot in the woods, isn't it? Well, whatever. Now, what's going to be sort of going on might be a little confusing. What I would suggest is that when we venture into the forest, is that you keep an ear out. Really, most of today is probably just going to be us having a chat. But I'd advise you to keep an ear out for anything that might sound peculiar. Maybe it'll be something you hear around. Maybe it'll be something that I say. But, pay attention. I know you're all very, very good at paying attention, but you should pay lots of attention today especially. Just to let you know. Just to let you know. I don't really know what to expect, but I have a feeling it might be important. I have a feeling. As well, listen. There's a lot of you, aren't there? All swimming around in there, in the person I'm talking to. There's a lot of different thoughts, different minds there. What I'm going to encourage you to do is to try and work together, because I don't think that all the mysteries of this forest will be unraveled by one person working alone. I think that all of you need to do your best as a unit, as a group of kindred spirits, to work together on this one. Because God knows I'm not smart enough for any of this. I'm not very brave. I'm not very smart. I might be the worst equipped person to go into the woods. But here I am, because I gotta get my paper back. Okay, listen. I really don't want to go into the woods. I had this big idea about going into the woods, and I had this idea that, once I go in, I'm going to conquer my fears, and it's going to be a lot easier for me. But to be honest, I feel quite rubbish about it. You don't know what's in there, and it's the middle of the night. All kinds of wild animals could be in there. Lions, tigers, and bears. Oh my, even. Am I No, I'm not stalling. I'm not stalling at all. Now, what's really strange is that I was doing some research earlier. I was skimming around the perimeter looking for things, and the fact that I didn't find my piece of paper during the day is maybe not my greatest idea. Maybe not my greatest idea of all time. But I was having a look around, and I was doing some research, Googling and stuff. Apparently, strangely, this wood is home to a population of Egyptian mongoose. And I thought that was weird. I thought that was very, very strange. What are Egyptian mongooses doing out here? Beats me. I don't know. Maybe, I'm not sure. Is an Egyptian mongoose aggressive, or are they sort of skittish? Would they leave you? I'm not very familiar with the Egyptian mongoose personally. Would you give me a second? I'm gonna Google it. Egyptian. Excuse me. Sorry, I don't know how to spell Egyptian mongoose. I didn't know that. Ah, well, doesn't look terribly important. I think we'll be fine. Oh yeah, what, are you surprised? I've got 5G coverage all the way across the country, baby. Yeah, normally, I did think that was weird. Normally found in the savannas. What's it doing in the woods? Who knows? Who knows? Maybe it is those 5G cell towers. Maybe they're messing with the animals' brains and making them run out of the savannas into the woods to take cover from all the 5G. Oh, what? Use my GPS? Use my GPS to find a piece of paper? I don't have a GPS tracker on every piece of paper that I own. I still don't even have one of those little beepers you can put in your wallet. Okay, and I guess that's more of a me problem. But what? Think of how many sheets are in a stack of paper. When you buy one of those big things of printed paper, can you imagine putting a tracker on each individual one? It'd be a nightmare. It would cost you millions. Millions and millions and billions of pounds. Billions and billions and billions and billions and billions. Because, okay, listen. We are risking our lives to find the piece of paper because it's really important to me. Okay? It's a very important piece of paper. And it's got a very, very important message on it. And I've forgotten what the message was. And I really need to find it so that I can read it again and refamiliarize myself. Okay? Okay, good. Ow, blah, blah, blah. My shopping list? No. I can remember most of what I tend to put on my shopping list. No. I don't want to walk. I don't want to walk through the woods now. Please? Let's just wait. Let's wait until it gets light. Okay? And then it won't be quite as scary. I mean, if it's light, there might still be lions and tigers and bears. But I think I won't be. I think maybe I'll be more brave, so that I could maybe fight them off. Good idea. Yes, it was true. Slenderman did put his pages on the sides of trees. Maybe that's what I did when I lost my piece of paper. I don't know. There's nothing over here. Oh, there's nothing over here either. Can you see anything at all? Oh, well, I wasn't trying to leave you alone. We talked about looking at the trees. That's what I was doing. I thought you were going to do the same thing. We're never going to find the pages if we're not on the same page like this. We're never going to find them. Mauled by a bear. Mauled by a bear. Mauled by... Check my pocket. Nah, wouldn't that be funny? Wouldn't that be funny? Then we could all go home. I've been a real fucking buffoon about this, okay? Listen, I'm trying to sort of keep a cool head about it and sort of trying to crack a few jokes, you know. It's like, come find my 8 pages, bitch, and all of that Jesse Pinkman type lark. But basically it's the kind of thing where if someone were to find that piece of paper before I managed to find it, it could potentially be really bad. And I want to be able to find it so badly, and I need to be able to find it, but I don't even know where to begin. Well, tell you what, maybe I should retrace my steps a little bit. Maybe I should try and remember where I was when I lost it. Well, it was just a few days ago, and I was off on some business. I was actually, as it turns out, I was getting involved with my local community, you see. Yeah, on, what was it? Sunday, on the Sunday last week, it was the last day of the weekend before something really big happening in my country this week. Well, it's not massive, but it's pretty important to some people. In the UK on Thursday, I believe, it's St. George's Day, which is a very important day. And in my local community, they were getting ready to set up a little local celebration, a bit of a fun fair. There was bunting and all kinds of fun stuff to do while you looked at the bunting, and that was about it. So I volunteered. I thought, yeah, I don't really, I'd like to get involved, and so I, wanted to go and hang out with some people and chat to the locals. So I thought, yeah, why not get involved in the St. George's Day celebration? So there I was, and I was chopping up some pieces of card, making them into some lovely bunting, which was good fun. And then the guy who was organising it, he came up to me and he said, "Victor," and I said, I said, "Yeah, buddy, what's going on?" And he said, "Listen, I don't know how to tell you this, but we've completely run out of string." And I was like, "Oh, how have you run out of string?" I was in the middle of doing up the bunting with string, and I thought, we've got loads of bunting already. And he said, well, I feel like we're going to need a lot more. We're going to need a hell of a lot more if we're going to, really do up the whole place. And I thought, oh, God. All right, you need me to go get some string. Where do you want me to get the string from? He said, it doesn't matter where you get the string from, as long as it's some good stuff and it's well wound. If it's well wound, that's all you need to worry about. So on that, well, it wasn't on St. George's Day. It was the weekend before St. George's Day this week. So I set off, maybe going down to the works or something, see if I could find a spool of string. So I'm off into town, and then I find the works. You know, it's where you used to buy. You buy some stationery there, some maybe a little bit of other stuff. But the main thing I remember people getting at the works was fidget spinners. Do you guys remember fidget spinners? Ah, we love the works, right? Fidget spinners. I remember hearing about them so often online. They were such a big craze. And then I was, one day. This is a different story. This is a different story. But I was going through the works one day before the weekend where I was looking for the string for the bunting on St. George's Day, and I saw a load of fidget spinners by the front, and I was like, "What? In the flesh, real fidget spin? Wow!" And that was really exciting. That was really exciting for me because I don't know. It felt like I was meeting a celebrity, but that's not important. What is important is that I went back, and by this point, the fidget spinners, they're sort of a dead craze. That they're long gone. What is also interesting is that the works was actually closed. It was. I said, "Fuck! It's a Sunday," and so I guess the works was closed that day. So I thought, God, where else is going to sell string? Ryman's. They usually sell string. So I thought I would head to Ryman's, and then I managed to find a Ryman's that was open, and they had a little bit of string. I thought, great, and I'll go and get maybe 2 or 3 spools of string, and then I popped out, and that was good. Had my string, had everything I needed, so I wanted to head back to the town centre to see if I could get back to work, because getting locked in, chopping up the card, making the bunting, that was my favourite part. And when I was on my way back, somebody came up to me. And he said, I was like, what are you? You alright? You alright, mate? And he said, And I said, sorry, I'm in a rush. I've got to take my string back to do the bunting for St. George's Day Fair. And he said, okay. And I asked him, what's your deal, man? And he said, well, the thing about St. George's Day is that they often sort of water down the myth. I said, why'd you stop me specifically? You didn't know I was doing anything to do with St. George's Day. And he said, wow, I just had a feeling. I'm like, all right, well, how do they water down the myth? And he said, I got my little girl a book to do with St. George's Day. It was called, George and the Dragon. That's what they call it most of the time. The legend about how St. George slayed the mighty dragon and rescued the princess, who he would later go on to marry. But this book, he said, it changed it all around. George in this book, he's not a knight. He's not a Christian knight of God at all. Not a saint at all, no. And I said, well, what is he? He said, he's a mouse. He's a mouse, and the dragon is afraid of mice. And he is the dragon's neighbor. He comes and asks him for sugar, and then the dragon screams and runs away, and the princess can go free. What woke rubbish? What woke nonsense, he said. And so I was like, all right, mate. The Golden Legend is still very much there. You can read the Golden Legend whenever you like if you want a pure, canonical, Christian recount of the tale of St. George and how he slew the dragon, right? And if you want my advice, one of the best versions of that you can check out is the one from Fordham University, okay? Give it a read, maybe. He said, okay. So on I went. Yeah, it was a bit weird. But people are on edge these days. People are on edge. I thought, best not to let it get me down. Now, what does this have to do with my piece of paper? Oh, right, yeah. So I was heading back, and then, this is kind of the stupid part. I'm a bit of an ambler. You know Steven Spielberg, Amblin Entertainment, E.T. Phone Home, and all of that. When I'm walking, I've got my tunes on, I'm listening to a song, I'm going, Maya he, Maya who, Maya ha, Maya ha. As I'm walking along, I'm thinking, yeah, this is a great day. It's getting sunny this time of year, you know, it's getting really nice and sunny. The day's getting longer. This is always my favorite time of year. So I'm walking, and then I see, oh, I could go for a little, this is my favorite little side road. I love this place. So I'm walking down, I'm going, Numa, Numa, ye, Numa, 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 ye, Numa, Numa, ye, and I'm walking down. I'm going down little side roads, looking at the houses, looking at the people with the string under my arms. I'm thinking, God, what a good life. What a good life I've got. And unfortunately, I kind of got a little bit carried away. I just sort of kept walking. And this is something I tend to do sometimes. I walked and I walked and I walked and I walked and I went and I went and I went. And then I thought, I don't know if the 7th left turn I took actually would have taken me back to the town centre. No, it wouldn't have done. Where am I? And I looked around. I didn't know. So I thought, all right, how else do we find our way back? We got to get to higher ground. Okay. Curiously, even though I've got excellent 5G service out here in the woods, didn't think to just open Google Maps at the time. Maybe I was just sort of feeling myself, and I wanted to feel like I was, you know, a man of the earth, you know, a real salt, as they call them, or that's more of a sailor. So I did the thing where I licked my thumb, and I put it up in the air, and then the wind sort of carried past, and I thought, okay, the wind is going that way. I didn't really know what to do with that information, so then I just kind of felt around for, you know, okay, what's going to take me up? Okay, we'll go this way. And so I just started walking towards a hill. Okay, I don't need all of that. Insect repellent would be good. Do you know, small side tangent actually. I was letting people know the other day about some of my plans for my birthday, which is very exciting. It's only a couple of days after St. George's Day, actually. But I was letting some people know, and I was just about to finish writing my little message with all of the let's do this, let's do that, who wants to join in, and then, those of you who were there yesterday, a mosquito was in my office. A mosquito! And it rose up slowly behind my monitor, and it very slowly flew towards me, and I thought it was just a little housefly, and then I saw how, you know, bigger it was, and I was like, fuck that thing. And I gave it a firm smack, but I think it was still alive. And while I was writing my message, I see it in the same position rise up and get ready to go for another swing. And I was like, fuck that. I'm not letting that happen. So I got up and I went to go find my bug spray, and I doused my office in it, and then I went to go and do something elsewhere. Went and had my dinner in a different room while I waited for the mosquito to die. And so in the message, it was quite funny. I just said, "Hi guys, sorry for the late notice. There was a mosquito in my office," but that's not related. I just thought that was kind of funny. So anyway, I'm getting up to higher ground, and then I'm looking around, and I think, "Oh, there's town. All right, I can get back if I can get back quite. They'll probably be wondering where I am. I can get back quite fast if I scoot around, and I go through the woods down there." So down I go, down I go down the hill, and then here I get on this exact spot, you know, right at the edge of the woods. I think this will be all right. This will be a nice little shortcut back into town. Why not? And then I was in the woods, and that's where the paper got lost. So now I have to remember what I did after I entered the woods. For 6 hours. No. I heard that. This is a couple of days ago. I did successfully exit the forest, because this is the middle of the day, right? It was bright and I could see where I was going. But now I'm back here in the middle of the night, because I need to find my piece of paper. What if a deer ate it? If a deer ate it, then we're getting ate, sis. Okay? Oh, yes. Right. So, I'm walking through the woods. And I'm trundling along. Beep, 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 beep. And then I start hearing some sounds. And I go, ooh, trains. As the very famous classic film said, I like trains. And I do. And so I just started walking towards the trains. I thought, this is quite a substantial railway operation for the middle of the woods. Quite a few of the trees had been cloven out of the way, and there was a big series of train tracks funneling through the forest. And if we do walk into the woods later, we'll see it. And so I was walking down, and I see them, and I think, gosh, there's quite a lot of these. You see, normally in these sort of, I guess, through the woods, they tend to have, you might have one train track cut through, but there was more. And so I had a look, and there was no crossing. I thought, I've really got to get across. So I looked one way, and there was nothing. And then I looked the other way, and there was nothing. So I thought, all right. Now, don't try this at home, because it's not very safe. But I decided to cut across the railway. Okay? And so I hop over the rails and the slats. What are they called? I'm going to Google that as well. What are they called? What is the wooden beam in train tracks called? Ties. Railroad ties. You broke the law. Wouldn't be the first time. Anyway, so I'm nipping over the rails and the ties between them, and I'm counting, and I go, how bloody many are there? How many rails are there on this little section? So I'm counting. I go 1, and I hop over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And if any of you laugh, I will give you the business like the likes of which not even St. George himself could bring upon the hapless dragon. So I hopped over the fence, and I looked back at the rail, and I saw, wow, 7 railroad tracks. 7 going right through the middle of the forest. What on earth? Huh. There was 7 different tracks, rather. 7 different tracks. All for different trains. Crazy amount of railroad tracks, right? You don't need that many going through the middle of the woods, but I thought, there must be... maybe this is a center of commerce or something like that. So I kept walking. Yes, let's all act like adults with the man who is too scared to go into the woods and look for his lost piece of paper. I'm you know what I am? I'm giving you a side quest. You know what I am? I'm the boy from the witch's house quest. I threw my ball into the witch's garden, and I need you, a competent person, to go and get it for me because I missed my ball. But it's not a ball. It's actually really, really important. Don't judge me for saying railroad. All right, I can't. When I'm talking fast, sometimes railroad. When you talk as fast as I do, as I'm often in a state of urgency, sometimes things get a little tricky, and you would be behooven to give me a little respect. But I am grateful for your assistance in finding my piece of paper. So anyway, I cross the railroad track, and I'm nipping down. I go la da 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 da. And I think, woods, they're quite nice. I'm walking through the woods, and I'm la-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da. And then I get out, and I'm back. I pop out on the edge of town, go back into town, go back to the town centre, go to the church, and they say, where the fuck did you go? And I said, I went to go get the string. And they said, you were gone for hours, mate. And I said, I'm sorry. They said, we've already got loads of string now. Oh. I said, oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I did kind of get a bit carried away, didn't I? They said, yes, you did. Always getting carried away. And I said, well, anything else I can help you with? And they said, get back to your bunting. And I went, oh, yippee. So I sat down getting ready to get back on with my bunting. You know, I was like, yeah, I was taking the piss. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, they have a right to be there. You know, they have a right to be a little ensconced with me, don't they? I thought, yeah, why not? So I sit down, I've got my scissors out, making some more cuts into these lovely little coloured pieces of card. Threading the string through, and it was nice string. I got to work with my own string, because I guess now we had more than enough that we needed. And then I start tapping my coat, and I think, where is it? I look in my pockets. It's not there. And that's when I realised I didn't have my piece of paper. And it must have gotten lost at some point on my journey. At some point, whether it was when I was on my, whether it was when the guy came up to me and told me that the new St. George book was woke. I don't know how new it is. Or whether it was when I found my way to the top of the hill, or whether it was when I was walking my way over the train tracks. At some point, I lost my piece of paper. Do I still have the string? No, I used it all. The man stole it. Well, I don't know. Oh, I am asking you. No. Okay, sorry. So I didn't... It's okay. That was a very, very long-winded explanation of my story. So I have lost a piece of white paper that has a message on it that is very important. The bunting made of little pieces of coloured paper, that's unrelated. That's just what I was doing that day because I was helping the town get ready for St. George's Day, okay? Just so we're all on the same page. Whenever I took my phone out. Yeah, probably. What's wrong with me saying white? Isn't that nice? White. Whale. What else? Where? Why? Why have you done this? Why? Anyway. Jesus fucking Christ, what was that? Oh my God. Did you see that? It just ran off into the grass. Do you see that? Unmistakably. That was an Egyptian mongoose. The legends are true. What are they doing out here? It's very strange. It's kind of... I don't know. I don't know what they're doing out here, but maybe it has something to do. Maybe it has something to do with St. George's Day. Now, you know, another word for a Egyptian mongoose is an ichneumon. And the ichneumon was actually a mythical beast that was renowned for trapping and slaying dragons, much like St. George did. I mean, I don't think that Egyptian mongoose would be out there slaying dragons at all. But it's kind of a strange coincidence, don't you think? Yeah. Look behind me. Sorry, my neck is a little stiff. Is there something there? What's that? Do you see that? Don't make any sudden moves. Look behind me. Look. Do you see it? Ah! Yeah, it's payback. Don't make fun of me for saying white. It's a fun way of saying words. Yeah. Don't you slap me. Ow. Oh. Ooh. Alright. Maybe I deserve that. Yes, back on with the search. So I just have to retrace my steps. I think I already did. I don't really remember using my phone. I would have used my phone to swap the song I was listening to. Maybe. Was there a song I was listening to the other day that had like a particular... Was there a song I was listening to that had a particular... that I can remember that when I took my phone out, I struggled to change over from or to that song. And maybe in that time I might have pulled the paper out of my pocket without noticing. I'll check my Spotify. That's it. I was listening to, I was listening to a lot of like kind of poppy stuff. Like I said earlier. Maya, 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 Maya. I was listening to that earlier. But later on, sometimes I like to listen to, film soundtracks. They bring back a memory of your experience with the film, but also sometimes they can start to mean something new to you, right? So I was listening to the soundtrack from The Imitation Game. Have you ever seen that? The Imitation Game? Oh, it's brilliant. The Imitation Game is the story about Alan Turing. It's fascinating. And some sort of historical experts have said, there are aspects of this that are quite historically inaccurate for the sake of dramatization and all of that. But what matters to me, I love it personally, because what matters to me is that it is an extremely compelling story that makes, such an incredible man's life far more well known to the public, to the point that now Alan Turing's face is on the £50 note. Now, Alan Turing, in case you didn't know, was a very, very gifted mathematician. He was very good at maths, and in particular, he was very good at cryptograms, puzzles, and deciphering codes, and so on and so forth. And he was famous for having invented what was essentially one of, if not the earliest computers, known as the Enigma machine. And it was used to decipher the Germans' Enigma code during the Second World War. Now, what was brilliant about this machine is that it not only made huge steps forward in terms of cryptography, it also meant that the war, supposedly, historians have looked back at the war and his contributions to the Allied war effort. Apparently, it ended 2 years earlier than it otherwise would have because of his contributions, and millions of lives were saved. And so I think it's really important that we celebrate that man's life. And whenever I think about it, I get so happy. I just think, what an incredible film, and what a sad story, and all of that. If you're aware of everything that happened after his contributions to the war. So listening to the soundtrack, and I was really enjoying it. I was kind of, thinking about it, but also, moving forward with thinking about, what would I do? What would I do if I was making a film with this song in it? What would I do? I don't know. But do you ever get it where you listen to music on your phone and then you don't realize that your phone screen is still on when you put it back into your pocket? And so you're walking along and then suddenly you're really feeling a song. You're like, oh shit, this is good. Oh, this is good. And then suddenly it skips, or suddenly it stops. And it's like, oh! Now, this happens to me so often. In fact, that there was a time when I almost tweeted a screenshot of my credit card number. I was on the tube at the time, and I remember looking down at my phone and seeing a tweet in reply to some meme I was looking at, with a screenshot ready to post with my full credit card expiration date and security code all in very full view. So that was mortifying, and there's a non-zero chance that it may happen again. So I'm particularly vulnerable to this sort of an incident, because they got all new technology that makes phone screens stay on. It's like, whatever. So I think what must have happened is, I do remember it actually. So I was listening to, what was it called? Shut the fuck up. Who asked? Imitation Game. There you are. One of these songs. Well, I couldn't tell you from the title, but I think it was the song End of War. Near the end. Yeah, near the end of the album, that's true. End of War. Near the end of the album. I was listening to that, and I think at that point it just sort of skipped, and I thought, no! And I pulled my phone out, I struggled with it in my pocket, and then I turned it back, put it back in my pocket, and I kept moving. And that was definitely after I'd crossed the train tracks. It was definitely after I had crossed the train tracks. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Oh! Right! No, I remember now. I remember when I was on my way into the woods, I was stood right here before I walked into the woods originally, and I thought, well, in for a penny, in for a pound. And I saw one of the Egyptian mongoose again, the ichneumon, or whatever they like to be called. I saw one of them again, but I just assumed it was like a fox or a stoat or something. But given that, we've seen it now, and that's definitely what that is. It's definitely what that is. Wow. Can't believe I saw one. I didn't even realize. Maybe that's why they've been living undercover. If they've been here for a while, maybe that's how we hadn't really heard about it until now, is because most people would just be like, ah, yes, it is but a stoat. Well, yeah. Otherwise, I don't really know what to do about my piece of paper. I was enjoying setting up for St. George's Day. I got my... I had my piece of paper somewhere on my person. Walked into town. Guy comes up to me. Asks me about St. George's Day. Tells me that it's a bunch of woke nonsense, that they're changing it around for children. Get kind of lost on my walk. Go to the edge of the forest, see the mongoose, and I go, wowie zowie. Then, in the woods, cross the train tracks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What was that? Why, anyone have any suggestions? Come on. I know you haven't seen where it is, but you gotta have something, right? Something else we can confer about before we go into the woods behind me. Before we go into the woods behind me. Let's check the train tracks. The train tracks seem like a good idea. Flashlight. Do you guys not have phones? All right. I guess we're gonna have to go into the woods. All right. Let me just... I brought an entire package of 8 bottles of sparkling water out here into the woods, just in case I got thirsty, you know? Where am I storing those bottles? I'm carrying them loose by hand because I'm a maniac. A compass? You guys not have phones? Alright. No. Hang on a minute. No, it must have been the wind. Phone is going to die soon. Maybe yours is going to die. I happen to be the proud owner of a Galaxy Fold 6, which has excellent battery life, as well as having a very innovative form factor. I'm not sponsored. I just think that I just think it's a really cool phone. Anyway. Well, alright. Shouldn't waste any more time. Whether it's some kind of a Egyptian mongoose, an ichneumon, whether it's something to do with St. George's Day, or whether it's along those 7 railway tracks, I'm sure we're going to find the piece of paper at some point. Hang on. Oh! There it is! It was in my pocket. Ow! There it is. No, I've been stupid. No, it was in my other pocket. It was in my other pocket, the one I don't usually check. Oh. There it is. Oh, I see. Well. I might need your help understanding what this means. You've been listening carefully, haven't you? Yeah. You've been listening carefully. Okay. Well, good. Yeah. Well, take a look. And remember to work together, and good luck. Good luck. I wouldn't be surprised if this takes you a little while. So have fun and good luck, guys. That's all from me for today. But this has only just begun.